I know where Georgia Library is. He wants me to watch it. Stop pushing me. I can't see anything. I can't.
Okay, we just about have everybody sitting down. My name is Mr. Weed. I work with the Pokanoket tribe who lives in this area, and we're going to talk a little bit about how you can meet them on Sunday afternoon right over there in the park. Okay? So let me begin by asking, who used to live here a long time ago? Yep.
The Native Americans.
The Native Americans. And what was their name? You know the name of the Native Americans who used to live here? I heard it over here. Pokanoket. Pokanoket. Anybody hear that name before? No. You may have heard the name Wampanoag, but the people who lived here were Pokanoket. And they lived all over this area. For how long did they live here? Yeah? 8,000 years at least, maybe longer, maybe as long as 12,000 years. Okay? Why do we know that people moved here about 8,000 to 10,000 years ago? What was here 12,000 years ago? Anybody ever hear of the Ice Age? Yeah. This was covered with ice, a mile thick. Okay? You would have been under an ice cap if you were here. But that melted, and then people moved into the area, and those became the Pokanoket tribe who lived here all that time. How did they live here? What did they do to eat? They grew corn, right? What else? Yeah. They hunted. What did they hunt for? Anybody ever see a deer around here?
Yeah, my dad.
Yeah. You think they hunted deer? How about turkeys? Anybody seen any wild turkeys around here? Yeah. They would hunt those, okay? They could hunt just about anything that they could eat here, okay? So that kept them alive. They built houses called weetus. When you come on Sunday afternoon over here, we have a small weetu. It's a little dome house that they would build and they could move around, okay? And when the people here needed to eat in the wintertime and there weren't any animals around, where would they go for food? And I'll give you a clue, it's right behind me. Yeah, the ocean. What can you eat right over there? Fish? What else? Cooked fish. Crabs? Yeah, there are a lot of crabs out there this year. What else? Lobster, right? How about clams? Yeah, there are a lot of clams over there, and we know that people ate clams because when they ate them, they threw the shells pile, okay? Called a midden. So there are great big piles of shells around here. So that's how we know that people lived here and some of what they ate. So who came to this part of the world in 1620?
The Pilgrims.
There you go.
The
The Pilgrims, okay? Did you learn about that in school? Where did they come from? Yeah? Where did the Pilgrims come from? Where? Say it? England, right. Across the ocean. Took them 2 months to get here on a big ship, okay? So when they landed here, what did they find in Plymouth? What was here? Not much of anything. Yeah, because the people who used to live in Plymouth had all died. Do you know what they died from? Why those people died? They got infectious diseases like smallpox that the European fishermen had brought over a few years earlier. So when the Pilgrims got here, there were no Indian people alive anywhere along the coast there. we're 40 miles away from Plymouth, so there were still people living here. And they went to meet the Pilgrims the spring after they got here. Who was the chief here? Anybody know who the leader of all the tribes here was? You've got a clue on the piece of paper there. Yep. Again, louder. Chief Massasoit. Okay. He was the Massasoit, but his name was Usamiquin. Okay. You ever hear that name? That was his name. It means yellow feather. Does anybody know where he's buried? Where's the Massasoit Usamiquin buried? And I'll give you a clue. It's right behind you. Where? Where? The rock up there. So when you leave here, you can walk up and go by the monument for Usamiquin, and it will describe him on the monument there. And when was he buried? Anybody know? Well, he was reburied 4 years ago, but he was first buried when he died in 1661.
How was his body up?
Pardon me?
How was his body up?
Well, it was. It was just bones when they dug him up in 1917. A man who ran the library here in town dug up 42 grave sites here. Among them was the grave of Usamiquin. And the things in their grave, what did they put in their graves here? Well, there were the bones from their bodies, but they put other things in when people died here. Does anybody know what? What?
Important trinkets.
Important trinkets, right? A lot of things that they got from the English. There's a couple pictures on there of two things that they got. Do you see a picture of a knife? Find a picture of a knife? Yeah, there's a picture of a knife. And the picture below it is of a pipe. So those were two things that were taken out of the graves right here at Burr's Hill. So you realize that you come here every day to an ancient burial site. But everything that was buried here was collected, taken out of here in 1913. And then 4 years ago, does anybody remember? How old were you 4 years ago?
I was 6.
Do you remember what happened? They did something here 4 years ago.
I was 5.
You were 5. So when you were 5, they reburied everything that was taken here. And it's now in a crypt underneath the monument up there. Okay? So everything was put back that had been taken out. So where are the Pokanoket people today? Does anybody know any Pokanoket people? You go to the grocery store, do you see people who are Pokanoket?
Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes.
right. Guess what? You don't know unless you ask them. Do Pokanoket people still walk around with feathers in their hair and leather costumes?
I don't see a lot. When I went to New Hampshire once, I saw people walking around like that.
Yeah, but that's on special occasions, right? Most of the time, the Pokanoket people look just like you or I, okay? And you won't know that they are native people unless you ask them and they tell you, right? Okay? But we want to get to know them, so that's why they're going to be over here in the park on Sunday afternoon. What time on Sunday?
What time on Sunday?
After 12.
1 to 5. And this will tell you this is called Pokanoket Heritage Day. Burr's Hill Park, Sunday, 1 to 5, right over there. All right? So that's a chance for you to come and learn a little bit more and get to meet them. Yep. I'm sorry? You can do what? Can you keep this? Yes, you can keep these papers. Okay? And yep, and you can take them home. Yep. You're what? You're part Blackfoot. So, did everybody hear her? You just told me that you're part Blackfoot. What does that mean?
Part Native American.
Okay, you're Native American, and would anybody know that you're part Native American if you didn't tell them? No. That's what I was saying earlier. You can't tell, somebody has to tell you. Where are the Blackfoot people? Where do they live? Yeah, they out in the west. Okay, they don't live around here. But there were, how many tribes are there in the United States right now? How many different tribes? Anybody want to guess? I'll tell you, it's more than 100. How many? No guesses?
4,500.
Well, not quite. Over 500 native tribes all over the country. So there's a different tribe in every place across the country, right? But here, what's the name of the tribe that lives here? Say it again. Pokanoke. Can everybody say that? Pokanoke. Okay. That's the Pokanoke tribe. Okay. And they will be here. When will they be here? 1 to 5 on Sunday. Where?
Here.
Not right here, but on the other side of the park over there. Okay? And you'll hear them. Why? Why will you know they're here?
Because they have
Yeah, well, they're going to bring a home over there, but they're going to play some drums. And when you get anywhere near the park on Sunday afternoon, you will hear them drumming. And they'll invite you to come in and dance with them. Anybody like to dance? Yeah. Well, this is Native American dancing. It's a little different, okay? You just kind of go like that, okay? And they'll have that over there as well. And they'll have things on display that you can look at. So, we're going to get you back to your... does anybody have any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good day at camp.
You too. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a great day. She wants a high five.
Have a great day.
She wants a high five.
All right. Bye.